sure if my mic isn't going to die in the middle of this video, but welcome back in another book video. It's been a while, and it's not like I wasn't reading, but I just felt like I had nothing interesting to say. And it's not necessarily different today. Today is 7th of April, and I'm going to do a recap of these 4 months. And it looks very poor, because that's what it looks like. But don't be fooled. There's many more books, but I think I'm just pretty economical maybe this year because almost all of them were borrowed from the library or were an ebook. So yes, I felt like I will not be doing. Uh, I just felt like the entire form of doing a recap of the entire year is very exhausting uh, for me, and I guess for people watching it. So I decided I'm going to make it into parts. I'm not really planning on doing like a quarter of a year or something like this. I just don't care. I will do it when I feel like it. I usually script my videos. Believe it or not, I usually do. This is my script. I think we will go chronologically from the start of the year, and there is many strictly Polish books that were not translated into English, and I will just speak on them very briefly so you don't get bored if you are not a Polish speaker. So that's what we are starting with. This is Zieleń by Małgorzata Oliwia Sobczak. If this entire uh, Colors of Evil series ever comes out in English, it's going to be green. But you can actually watch the first one on Netflix, and it's Colors of Evil. Very good. I haven't read the red one because I watched it, and it's great. I really love the way that God, what is happening? I really love the way they are written. However, I am also very fed up with the extreme love for the communist times in Poland that this woman has, even though she was born in like it doesn't say here, I think, but she was born in the end of communism in Poland. So I don't know why is she so fascinated with it. Okay, it doesn't say, but I remember checking that, and it's very frustrating because I noticed this certain Eastern European aesthetic of the 70s 80s, but she's overusing it in every single book. Cannot describe a place as, oh, she stepped on a carpet or something. No, it has to be that one, certain brownish carpet. You cannot use a mug. You have to use a glass in this metal basket. Uh, everything has to be overly oversaturated, sort of. So that's what very frustrates me, and I hope she doesn't continue to do that. But anyway, the plot twist was so good, I forgot to leave the bus in my bus stop. So let that be a review itself. So whenever I have a book that I have bought from the library, I will be just holding my ink book because I just feel like I have to, move my hand with something in it. So the next one is Poor Things by Alice de Grey, and it has taken me so long to read that book because first of all, I really hate it when when a character in a book receives a letter and the letter isn't like briefly explained. No, it has to be everywhere, and it was legitimately like 100 something pages of a letter, and it was written in cursive, and it is not pleasant to read in cursive, right? So the book is basically about, I don't think it's going to be a spoiler if I explain it right, about a scientist who finds a pregnant woman in a river and decides to take out the brain of her unborn child and put it into her head. And I'm going to cut it here. It was very interesting. The entire idea is very bizarre, and I did not enjoy the process of reading this book, but I think it was worth it. Also, there's a nice plot twist at the end, which is not presented in the movie. Because a day after reading, I have watched the movie because I was so curious on how the director would portray it, and he didn't. He cut this out. So that's worth reading because I feel like the entire story, at least for me, is more interesting with the plot twist. So yeah. Okay, so the next two books are two parts of a series I have actually read on ebook because they were a lot cheaper and they're also like 100 pages each. And I have no idea in how many languages it has been published, but it's Wrony and Wrany by Petra Dworzakowa. She's a Czech author, and if it's translated, it's going to be Kraus, and the other one I don't know how to translate it because it's like a game of words. Anyway, oh god, it's very hard to say that you like this book because this book is about domestic abuse of children. So, it's not a topic on which I can say, wow, I love this book. I would consider it one of the best books I have ever read, but not because it was pleasant to read it. It was not at all. It was very gut wrenching, and I had to take breaks in between reading it so I wouldn't get so exhausted. Because the way it is written is, I cannot really explain it. It's not like any specific kind of way of writing. The narrator of the first part is one sister, and the other one is the second sister. And I just think that there are also perspectives of the parents, and it is heartbreaking to see a perspective of a vulnerable child who is unaware of what is actually happening around them. Yeah, this I cannot really tell you a plot. It's two sisters, and one of them is more free spirited, and the other one is more organized, and on a different treatment that they receive from their parents, but especially I would say their mother. Next book is Breakfast at Tiffany's by Truman Capote. I have no idea. And I am sort of disappointed. I am looking forward to watching the movie. Maybe it's going to get me more interested, but I just didn't really. I had maybe one thought reading this book. It's very, very short. What is it? I don't think it's even like 100 pages. But I didn't have any food for thought. I was hungry. And I did not eat. Oh god. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Well, actually, I have nothing more to say about this book because it was like, the writing was very good as for these times that it was written in. It was very simple and very quick to read. Another one. This one is also only in Polish, but it's Głusza by Anna Goc. It was one of the best books I have ever read. I think it's a good year. Good books this year. It's a documentary on deaf people, and I don't think I have ever learned so much about anything than from this particular book. I just felt like I was so ignorant in my entire life. I was so sure that I know everything. What do you need to know about deaf people, right? I knew nothing, and it was very. I have felt the entire spectrum of emotions reading it. I laughed, I cried from happiness, I cried for sadness because it's a very frustrating topic, and well, this book was very frustrating, in the topic that it is. But overall, there was nothing that I could say that was annoying me or I didn't like. It's a perfect documentary book for me. 10 out of 10. This is the last book I have physically, and it's Birdie by William Wharton. And I just found it in my house. No thoughts behind my head because it doesn't have anything written on the back, so I was like, yeah, let's just go with it, right? It's good. It is really good. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite books, but It's about a guy who is very hyperfixated. I think I'm using this word correctly here. I am aware of the weight of this word, and I feel like this is the correct use of it now. Very hyperfixated on birds. So on the beginning of this book, he is fascinated with pigeons, and later on, he is fascinated with canaries. I think, yeah, canary birds. And it's about war, it's about friendship, it's about obsession. This book has everything, but it lacks something, and I don't know what, but it's like 7 or 8 out of 10 for me. It lacks something, but I cannot really point what exactly is missing. Next one, I have gave Haruki Murakami second chance because last time I have read. Oh, sorry, I have a ripped muscle in my neck, and I forgot for a second about that. So here is Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami, and I really didn't like this book. I have made it private, that video in which I was saying why I don't like it and what else you can read instead of it, but I just felt like I didn't like that video, so I just privated it, but I did not like it. I didn't like his style, I didn't like the plot, I didn't like the characters, I didn't like anything about this book, and it's pretty long. But I have read the summary for A Wild Sheep Chase. I don't think it's the most popular book by Murakami. I feel like it's a bit less. It's a bit underrated. But I may be wrong because I'm not really, in his universe. It's actually a third part of some series, but you can actually read them separately. And I read the summary and I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna try again, right? So it's about a guy. He has a very mundane life, very very boring. Nothing is happening. And one day there comes this assistant of a businessman, and he shows him a photo on a brochure, brochure, um, flyer. Yeah, I guess because he runs an advertisement company, and he shows him like a flyer that he made for some other company, and he says that it's going to get him in huge trouble because on this flyer there's many ships and one of them is very important. And this book was like a fever dream, but in a way that wasn't, traumatizing because I had so many fever dreams in my life that made me want to throw up every time I see something related to, okay, it's gonna be very off topic and I'm running out of storage again, but I have wild fever dreams and one of them was about Fast and Furious, and it was Tokyo Drift, and I cannot really look at this series anymore. But this one was like a fever dream that is kind of fascinating, that you wake up and you want to recall it and rethink it. So you remember, it is very like a distant, foggy memory, sort of. I don't really know how to explain it because it's very weird and you just have to read it. It's very weird. That's what I'm saying, and in a good way. So I am giving Murakami the third chance, and the next book I will be reading will be Sputnik Sweetheart. I think it's the same title in English. Sputnik. How do you read it? I don't know. But it's also a Polish word, so whatever. Okay, I have 3 more books, and I hope I don't run out of storage because I have already deleted 3 apps to record this video. The Unbearable Lightness of Being by Milan Kundera. I have borrowed this book from the school library and I haven't returned it for over a year because I was like, I don't feel like it now. And it was once again a really good book. That's a really good year. I have a great streak of good books. And I hope I don't jinx it. And it's hard for me to explain what is it about because it's about life. I don't know, it sounds very cliche, but that's exactly what it is. It is about a life of, you can point some main characters, but I don't remember the names. I'm sorry, I don't. You see, I really love this book, but now I can only think of the concept of it and what it has kind of taught me instead of what the plot was. But it's about normal people, and it's they are living in different times than we do, and possibly different places. However, the life is very, it's sort of like a mirror. I think you can kind of see your life reflecting from this from the pages of this book. I don't really know if it made any sense what I just said, but it's hard to explain it. It was a good book. Well, now we're gonna move to another one that wasn't good. It was Cold Enough for Snow by Jessica Au. Au. Uh, I will be rating it on a base of Japanese literature because I am 100% sure that she tried to go for this certain, cozy style of some Japanese books. Like the Before Coffee Gets Cold sort of. I mean, there's actually a lot of plot in the Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I'm looking at my bookshelf, but I cannot recall the original titles of this book, so I will not be even attempting it. Thank God it was only like 70 pages because it was so boring. It's about a girl who goes on a trip to Japan with her mother, and she reflects a lot on her life and on the life of her mother and on the passage of time, the stories of her family, but it just no thoughts. It maybe I'm just too young for this book. I don't have much reflections on getting old too much because I'm fresh out of the womb. What can I say? Um, I did not like it. It was very boring. Thank God it was very short, and I do not get it. But it has good ratings and it got many awards. So I'm aware that I am not. I mean, I cannot say if I'm right or not because that's opinion based. But I am not. I am not. I don't make the rules. That's not what I'm saying. You know what? Never mind. Never mind. It wasn't for me. And the last one is The Interpretation of Dreams by Sigmund Freud. That one was good. That was my first book by Sigmund Freud, and I can tell that he's kind of an asshole. That's also his favorite topic. But I was very scared that will be the only topic he will be talking about because I am very fascinated with the topic of dreams because you can't catch it. It's not something you can really make much experiments on. You can really scientifically say much about it. So I was interested what he will be saying about it. And actually, he started talking about the intercourse related stuff only on the last page. I was like, okay, thank God it's the last page because this was just to me it was pure bullshit. But I cannot really argue with such a huge psychiatrist that he was, but also psychology is most of the time it's just theories that you can or cannot really tell if they're correct, right? But the way he was showing his method of interpretation of dreams, and I could not ever think of anything close to what he's saying. And that's a good thing. I am trying to interpret my own dreams based on his methods and see if it actually works. So it's very interesting. If you are interested in psychology and dreams or anything, I will be reading more of his books. I have already bought one, both, purchased one. The one about culture. I don't remember the title. Culture as a source of human suffering, something like this, because it's an interesting title. And I will be seeing if I will get fed up with his talk or not. But yeah, I guess that's it. Okay, thank you, because my phone will explode.